Me too. So we'll start on our mats. We're gonna start on our backs, just kind of easing into things today. Just laying comfortably. And we'll go ahead and bring the knees into the chest. You can either just pull them in close, starting to welcome some compression in the hips, or you can maybe play around with some movements, whether that's rocking gently side to side, maybe drawing circles with the knees. Kind of feel it out and start to notice any areas in the body that might be a little tense, a little tight. We'll do our best to work them out with this gentle flow today. I can't believe it's snowing, at least down here. All right. From here, we're going to gently release the legs and bring them to about 90 degrees, trying to stack the knees right over the hips. And we're going to start to engage the core. So we'll draw the belly button down and kind of curl the tailbone up. And from here, we're going to gently start to tap one leg down, just tapping with the heel, pulling up with the core, and tapping the other foot. And really focusing on grounding the back down. Starting to feel those core muscles firing up. Another option too, if you'd like to play around with it, you can go for a double heel tap, really focusing on engaging that core. And with that too, you can add a little extra support by placing the hands right under the tailbone or right on either side of the tailbone. Just an option. You can feel free to hang out with that alternating tap. So I will be and spend about 15 more seconds here. I'm going to breathe through. Exhale as we lift. We'll try to get one more on each side. All right, then we'll bring the knees back into the chest one more time here. Hug them in close. And we'll slowly let the left leg go long and find the mat. Keeping that right knee in, pulled close to the chest. And again, you can either keep it still here, welcoming that compression in the right hip, or you can start to play around with some movement, maybe drawing the knee out towards the edge of your mat, pulling it back in towards the midline. It's really gentle. And if you take this movement, try to match it with your breath. So inhaling one direction and exhaling the other. Really focusing on slowing that breath down. Let the shoulders relax down towards the mat. Taking it nice and easy today. And when you're ready, we're going to pull that knee all the way across the left side. Think for a gentle twist. You can either keep your gaze straight up at the ceiling, or you can set the right hand down on the ground and let your gaze go right over the fingertips for a full body twist. You can keep the leg bent, or you can start to straighten it out, or maybe just kind of go between the two and finding whatever movements feel good for your body today. Breathing nice and easy. We'll take one more deep breath. Good, and we'll slowly pull that right knee back in towards the chest one more time. Big hug. And let the right leg go long to the mat. Your next inhale, drawing that left knee into the chest. Pulling it in nice and close. And you can either find that stillness, just hugging it in, compressing the hip, or you can start to play around with that movement, drawing the knee out towards the edge of your mat and back in towards the midline, just really gentle, matching movement with breath. Inhaling one direction, big exhale on the other. Legs should be nice and heavy, letting the arms do the movement here. Really breathing into the muscles. Start to feel the body warm up a little bit. Maybe relax a little bit. Good. Then from here, we're going to gently draw that knee all the way across the body to the right side. Same options as last time. You can either keep your gaze straight up at the ceiling, or you can go ahead and set that left hand down. Let the gaze just go right over the fingertips. That full body twist, if that feels good today. Breathing easy. Again, you can play around with straightening out the leg, pulling it back in if that's more comfortable. Focusing on slowing down that breath. Aiming for 3 to 4 seconds. Really letting the belly fill up too, not just the chest. We'll take one more deep breath. Go ahead and we'll pull that knee right back into the chest one more time for a big hug. Then exhale to let it go long. From here, we'll take a bend in the knees. First, we're going to take a little refresher with windshield wipers, letting the knees drop slowly, gently to one side and slowly, gently to the other. It's a nice, easy, gentle movement to refresh the hips, refresh the low back. And breathing easy. Relax the shoulders, soften the face. Good. From here, we're going to gently start to pick our feet back up off the mat, finding that 90-degree angle with the knees stacked over the hips. And this time around, instead of a heel tap, we're going to go for a leg extension, extending that leg out as far as you can while the back stays flat. Pull it back in, extend the other out, and pull it back in. Inhaling on the way out, then exhale as we pull it back. You can move at your own pace and just really focusing on keeping that back grounded down, kind of keeping the tailbone curled up a little bit. And I'll throw out another option, same as last time, if you'd like to go for double leg extension, as far out as you can go. By all means, you can play around with that. Maybe taking a little bit higher angle to really keep that back down. Again, I will be hanging out with that alternating extension. I'm really focusing on engagement here, quality over quantity. Inhale on the way out. Exhale as we pull it back in. We'll spend about 15 more seconds here. Continue to warm up that core. Nice work, we're almost there. Let's shoot for one more per side. Nice work. When you're done, you can pull the knees back into the chest. We'll take a few circles just to loosen them up, let the legs be heavy. Take a big inhale here. And exhale to release the legs, bringing the feet back to the ground. This time we're going to move into a couple glute bridges. So you can place the hands on either side, just down on your mat. Relax the shoulders. We're going to slowly inhale to lift up. Then hold here. We're focusing on really firing up those glute muscles, a little bit in the low back too. You can continue to hold, or an option with the glute bridge, going for a gentle sway. So really focusing on lifting with the right side, swinging to the left, swinging to the right. Kind of a fun variation just to really focus on engaging those muscles. Really focusing on keeping those hips lifted. Lots of things to focus on today. Try to get the hips up a little bit higher. Spend about 10 more seconds here. And final 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll slowly lower all the way down to the mat. We'll pick the feet up off the mat and grab behind the knees. From here, we're going to take some roll-ups, starting to make some moves off the mat. You can take as many or as few as you'd like. Eventually make your way to a butterfly position for a quick stretch. Gently press the knees down with the elbows, kind of hinging forward with the upper body. Maybe finding movement by rocking side to side, or by all means, you can stay still here. Just really breathing into those hip flexors, into the inner thigh. I'll take one more deep breath. Good, and from here, you can make your way to a cross-legged position, just to roll forward, planting the hands. You can walk yourself to all fours. So we'll spread the fingertips nice and wide, placing them right below the shoulders. Knees are below the hips, and we'll flip the feet so they're flat on the mat. From here, we'll take a big inhale to drop the belly down, lift the gaze. And exhale to round out the spine, pull the shoulder blades apart. Inhale to drop the belly down, lift the gaze, lift the tailbone. And an exhale to round out the spine, pulling those shoulder blades apart. Let's go through one more each. Big inhale to drop the belly down. Big exhale to round out the spine. Good, and we'll find a neutral position. From here, I'm going to face you so you can see me better. We're going to kick out the right leg, straightening it out, and the foot can just be parallel with your mat, whatever way you're facing. And then we're going to pick ourselves up off the ground. We'll place the right hand on the hip, and then we'll take a big inhale to reach over to the side. Big stretch here. Should feel a really nice stretch along the side, and also through the thigh and that leg, just keeping it nice and straight. Maybe taking some time to roll out the wrist, stretch the fingers. Maybe just shake it out, wave hello. Take one more deep breath. Then we'll release, bring it back down, and we'll place the hands back on the mat. Slowly starting to bring that leg back in, maybe just shaking the hips, wagging the tail side to side to refresh. Then we'll set up for that second side here. So kicking the left leg out, foot is parallel with the mat. We'll lift ourselves off the ground, place the left hand on the hip, and a big inhale to swoop that arm up and over, big stretch and reach. Maybe it feels a little different than that first side, and that is totally okay. Still feeling that stretch though in the inner thigh on that left leg, and all through the side body on the right side. Continue to take some deep breaths. Maybe roll up the wrist, stretch the fingers, wave, shake the hand. Tons of options. Do what feels good for you. We'll take one more deep breath, big stretch. Good, we'll exhale to release, bringing the hands back down to your mat. A turn just to face normally again. So we'll shake it out once more, just kind of moving the hips side to side, maybe make it a circle. Whatever feels good and fun to you. All right, and from here, we're going to slowly start to step that right foot up to the edge of the mat. We're going to keep both hands on the inside of that foot, and you can either stay grounded with that knee in the back, or an option too if you want to lift up. And from here, we're going to keep that left hand planted, and inhale to swoop and reach that right hand overhead, holding here for 2 deep breaths. After that second deep breath, you can slowly release the hand down. And then if you don't already have that knee picked up, you can pick it up off the mat. We'll bring the right hand to the other side, so one hand on either side of that front foot. Then from here, we're going to swoop the arms up overhead to crescent lunge. We'll relax the shoulders down the back. Check in by making sure that knee is right above the ankle. We'll hold here strong and steady, building a little bit of heat in the legs. We'll go ahead and twist it open to warrior two, rotating that back foot. We'll gaze over the front fingertips. We'll try to avoid reaching and check in with yourself. Make sure you are centered and strong. Once we feel good with the legs, we'll pull the pinkies back, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And holding here strong and steady, building a little bit of heat. Good. Now we'll slowly start to shift forward. Tick-tock the arms down to extended side angle. You can either gaze up at the fingertips, maybe out in front of you, or down at your mat, whatever is more comfortable on the neck. Still keeping a bend in that front leg, maybe feeling a little stretch in the hip here. Take one more deep breath. Good, and we'll slowly inhale to rise, reverse warrior, reaching that right hand overhead. Then for an exhale, we'll plant the palms down on the mat, cartwheeling hands. Can gently step it back with that right foot into a high plank, or option of dropping down to the knees. Either way, keeping that back nice and flat, kind of puffing up between the shoulder blades. And then we're gonna slowly pin the elbows down as we lower all the way down to the mat, slowly as we can go. From here, we'll press up to a cobra or up dog. And then you can either make your way to down dog or child's pose. So a down dog, pushing those hips up towards the ceiling, taking as much of a bend in the knees as you need, maybe shaking the hips side to side, and keeping those fingers spread wide, ears between the biceps, or child's pose hanging out right on the mat. A couple deep breaths here. Good, and we'll shift it forward, making our way to all fours once again. Second round with that gate stretch, so I'll face you so you can see me. We're gonna kick that right foot out and keeping that foot parallel to the mat. We'll lift ourselves off the ground, right hand on right hip. A big inhale to swoop the left arm up and over for that big stretch. Maybe this time we get a little bit further now that we're a little warmer. Maybe not, that's cool too. You can play around, maybe shake the wrists out, roll the fingers. You make a fist and unclench. Plenty of movements you can play around with for the hands and wrists. One more big inhale. Good, and we'll release. Placing the hands back down on the ground. This time we're gonna add in some rocks. So keeping that right foot out, we're gonna shift our hips back and forward, kind of moving that stretch around, kind of shift back, forward at your own pace here. Let's take a few more. Nice job. We'll find some stillness and then we'll gently bring that right leg back in, bringing the knee to the mat. We'll shift the hips side to side, wag the tail. And when you're ready, we'll find stillness and kick that left leg out straight, foot parallel to the mat. Once you're settled, we'll lift up off the ground, left hand on left hip. A big inhale to reach, swooping up and over. Maybe playing around the wrists, the hands, noticing any differences the second time around. We'll take a few deep breaths here. One more, big reach, big inhale. And we'll exhale to bring those hands back down. We'll keep that left leg out for a moment as we go for our rocks, so sitting back, forward, and using that right foot as support as we lower down. And go as far as comfortable. And get a couple more here. Breathing easy. All right, and find some stillness when you're ready for it. Gently bringing that left knee back to the mat. Maybe shaking the tail a little bit. Shifting the hips side to side, maybe drawing some circles. And just moving around however it feels good for you. All right, and from here, when you're ready, we'll step the left foot forward, kind of up to the corner of the mat, and you can toe heel it a little further if you need to. Hands are going to be planted right inside that foot. We'll flip those back toes underneath. You can either stay on that knee, or you can gently start to lift up on the mat. Right hand stays planted. We'll take an inhale to swoop the left arm overhead. We'll hold here for 2 deep breaths. Strong and steady, keep it slow. Nice work. We'll slowly start to return down to the mat with the hands. And one hand on either side of that front foot. And from here, we're going to swoop the arms overhead for that crescent lunge, drawing the shoulders down the back. We'll check in, make sure that knee is just above the ankle there, not any farther forward. Don't want any stress on the knee. We'll hold here, strong and steady. We'll take a couple more deep breaths. Let's go for 2. Nice work. Whenever you're done with that second deep breath, we're going to open up to warrior 2, swiveling that back foot, and checking in with the legs, keeping that bend in the front knee here. Back leg is straight. We're making sure we're not shifted either direction right now. We are strong and centered with the torso. We'll go ahead and pull the pinkies back, squeeze the shoulder blades as tight as you can. Hold strong. Building some heat in the body. Not here much longer. Nice work. We'll slowly start to shift ourselves forward and tick-tock the arms down to extended side angle, focusing on lifting the body up with the obliques, the side abs, either gazing up the ceiling, maybe out in front of you, or you can gaze down at the mat too. Feel it out, play around. Hold here for 1 more deep breath, slow and steady. Go on your next inhale, we're going to rise to reverse warrior, reaching that left arm overhead, keeping that bend in the front leg. Really reach, big inhale. And exhale to cartwheel the hands down to the mat. Bring that left leg back gently, and either finding a high plank up on the toes, or you can drop down to the knees. Either way, focusing on drawing the belly button in towards the spine to brace that core tight. Hold here for a couple more seconds. And appreciating that warmth we're building. We'll go ahead and slowly start to lower down, keeping the elbows pinned by the sides, all the way down to the mat. You can either go for a cobra, a little bit lower, or an up dog, whatever is more comfortable. Then we'll make our way to downward facing dog or child's pose. I'm going to take child's pose, but you can feel it out. And with that down dog, if you decide to take that, you can take some knee bends, maybe pedal out the feet. With the child's pose, you can kind of sway side to side like I am. Just breathing easy here. Giving the body a little refresher. Good. And when you're ready, we're going to shift to all fours or lower down to all fours. We're coming from down dog. We're going to move into some bird dogs. I have all the dogs today. So for bird dog, we're going to do the crunching variation. So we'll reach out opposite arm and leg, aiming to be as straight as you can, keeping that core braced. Then we'll exhale to crunch the elbow knee together. Inhale to reach, strong and steady. And exhale to crunch. Inhale, reach, and go at your own pace. Making sure to match movement to breath. Staying strong and balanced. We'll spend about 10 more seconds here. Try to go for one more on this side. We'll finish out with a reach. And we'll slowly set the hand and knee back on the mat. Take a moment to check in with the body, maybe reposition yourself. Shake the shoulders, and side two coming up here. We'll begin with that lift, inhaling to reach, going for as straight as possible. Exhale to crunch, knee towards elbow. Inhale to reach. And exhale to crunch. You can move at your own pace, making sure to match movement to breath. Really focusing on drawing that belly button towards the spine. Throughout this movement to engage the core, which will help to keep the body strong and stable. Spend about 10 more seconds here. Nice job. Let's go for one more for good measure. And we'll finish out with the reach. You can slowly bring hand and knee back to the mat. We'll take some time to shift around and move the body just for a moment here. All right. One more quick exercise and we'll get a brief stretch afterwards. So save the best for last. We're gonna do some negative push-ups just for funsies, nice and slow and quality over quantity. So for push-ups, you can go on your knees or on your toes. Hands are gonna be about shoulder width apart or slightly wider if that's comfortable. We're going to try to lower down to the mat, kind of like before, going as slow as you can go until you're down on the ground, and then we will push up quick to reset. So we'll get started here. You can also go on the toes if you'd like. Maybe going toes for the lower down, knees on the way up, or vice versa. But you can continue to go here with your own slow pace, really focusing on drawing belly button towards the spine. Common theme today. Go slow, slow, slow. Appreciating a little shake in the arms, maybe the shoulders or chest. Maybe the whole body if you're like me. There we go. Let's spend 15 more seconds. This will be it with the push-ups. Really challenge yourself to slow it down, especially at the bottom. Keep those elbows tucked close. Let's go for one more. Let's go as slow as you can. All the way down. Once you get to the bottom, you can release. We'll stretch the hands out in front of us. Maybe just move side to side. Good. Now we're going to plant the hands on the top of our mat, push ourselves up and back into a child's pose with knees out as wide as comfortable, big toes to touch. We'll just extend those arms forward, really reaching through the fingertips. Take a few deep breaths here in the center. Nice, and we'll slowly start to walk the hands to the left side of the mat, pulling back to stretch out that right side of the body. And breathing nice and easy here, loving that stretch. Right after those push-ups. Take one more deep breath. Good, and we'll walk the hands to the right side of the mat. This will be our final stretch for the day. So take this time to slow down and just focus on your breath, how the body's feeling. Take one more deep breath. And after that, you can slowly walk the hands to the center and up towards you, maybe taking some shoulder rolls at the top. And shake it out. Ooh, that's creepy. Sorry about that. But awesome work today.